Hi, Justin. Thank you so much for joining in this podcast episode. Really appreciate it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. I can see like you enjoying the nice weather, right? It's a proper sunny.
Southern California, 72 degrees on the beach.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah, super pumped up for today's podcast. I love to know more about your company and everything, like how you've been helping other people, reducing stress, anxiety, and also like giving them better sleep. So before we get to that, I want to learn more about yourself. Who is Justin? Is like how did you end up creating the your company and CBD brand?
Yeah, well, actually, it was about 6 or 7 years ago now, and life was good.
Hmm.
And I had very successful sales and marketing businesses, helping other businesses with marketing. And we had our second child, and he was healthy, and everything was great. We had the dog, the picket fence, traveled a lot, played a lot of golf all over the world. And then we got a phone call when we noticed my son stopped communicating, stopped making eye contact, stopped talking, and had a real kind of regressive issue. And we got a phone call from a doctor saying that he had his diagnosis was severe autism. And so basically,
Right.
our whole world stopped,
Yeah.
and we had to figure out how to heal my son. And so we kept figuring it out. We did a lot of research. We came across CBD that was helping children
Hmm.
with seizures and epilepsy, and it was helping reduce and eliminate seizures, which I thought, well, if it was helping children with seizures, which is
Yeah.
neurological, maybe by the grace of God, it could help my son with autism, which is neurological in the brain. And
Yeah.
we tried some products that were out there. Nothing really seemed to work too well, or as much as we had hoped. But then we did some more research, found a Dr. William Courtney who was juicing raw hemp
Hmm.
to help people with late stage cancer. And then we decided to grow some hemp right here in California, grew some out here in the backyard, and then we juiced it, and then we were at a pumpkin patch, and my son and my daughter and the grandparents and the aunt and uncle, we were all picking pumpkins for Halloween. And my son was there, and he was having a tantrum, his hands over his ears, he was overwhelmed, kicking, screaming, hiding under a bench. And I said, looked to my wife and I said, hey, why don't we give him some of this fresh
Yeah.
cold pressed hemp that we made, and we did. And literally 2 minutes later, he snapped out of it and went off to pick a pumpkin with his sister. And that was our big aha moment. Like, oh my gosh, like, did you see that? And the
Mm.
grandparents were like, what was that? What did you give him? And so that was the beginning of us having a son who's no longer carries a diagnosis of autism. Our prayers were answered. And then I went back to doing my normal thing. We were so happy. I started a .org just to help other families
Yeah.
with autism and give them hope and tell them our story and give them access to the same products. And then that's it. That's all I thought there was going to be. But then people kept hearing about our story, and they kept coming with their health issues, whether it was
Hmm.
pain or stress or sleep, but also it was fibromyalgia, neuropathy, rheumatoid arthritis. And then we saw so much power and so many incredible stories that we just went all in and have been making this miracle plant oil for, I guess we're going on 6 or 7 years now. And it's been an amazing journey.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, I'm so happy like your son is doing normal life right now, and like you guys did it actually. Like my son like has
Yeah.
a seizure as well himself. Like he is like 14, 15 months right now, and he had the last 3, 4 months before seizure so far. Even though last week he had a seizure. So he doesn't have a epilepsy or anything like that. But they goes like it's a febrile compulsion. So every time he get high temperature, then he gets that. So I don't know like if the oil helps or not. So that kind of situation.
Sounds like we need to send you some CBD. That's why it's invented. That's why it was
Yeah.
made completely legal in the US. And yeah, shoot me your mailing address afterwards. I'll send you a bottle. It's magic.
Yeah, that would be great, brother. So yeah, so after like you curing your son and a lot of people requesting like helping them in terms of like their health issues. So how does it actually work in terms of like reducing stress, anxiety, and like giving you better sleep with the CBD oil?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that the hemp plant does is that it has one of the things that it has in it is CBD. Now, when it's
Mhm.
raw, CBD. It's called CBDA, and that's just what the plant makes. And when you introduce CBDA into your body, and we recommend under the tongue for 5 minutes sublingual oil, it helps supplement what your body has. It's called an endocannabinoid system. Lots of
Right.
tongue twisters there. And that endocannabinoid system controls and monitors all other 9 systems within the body. So if you have a fully supplemented endocannabinoid system, it can help raise or lift the other systems in your bodies that may be depleted or not operating efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So for that's how why it helps so many people with so many things, is because when you have lots of things like CBD in
Yeah.
your endocannabinoid system that helps every other system in your body, whoa, it's amazing. The body knows how to heal naturally. How does it work for pain? The first thing it does when it's in the system is it reduces inflammation. Pain is caused by inflammation. Inflammation is caused usually by either injury, old age, diet. If you're not eating healthy, the diet can have a lot to do with that as well. Too much
Yeah.
sugar, too many fats, too many processed foods. So when you take the CBD, it reduces inflammation. You reduce inflammation, you reduce pain. Helps with the stress in the mind. When you take it, it goes, you have something in your mind called the CB1 receptor, and it actually interacts with the brain. And if you're like super stressed out, I call it popcorn brain. You're looking at
Yeah.
your phone, you're worried about your wife, you're worried about this, you're worried about the in-laws, you're worried about the job, you're worried about the bills, you're worried about social media and the news and all that. Well, that's called popcorn brain, because if we were sitting in the island right now trying to decide if I wanted coconut juice or pineapple juice, I
Yeah.
promise you, you wouldn't be stressed out. But we live in a stressful world. And so, anyways, it notices that your brain's going like this, and that CB1 receptor gets that CBD, and it, wait a second, we need to slow down. It's like setting a thermostat at 72 degrees. It calms you down, brings you back down to 72 degrees where you belong. So that's how it works with stress. And that's also how it works with sleep. Right before you go to bed, your mind's racing, thinking about too many things. It
Mhm.
helps calm the brain down to where it belongs, so you can get a nice long night, good night of sleep.
Yeah, that's great. So right now is like a stressful moment for everyone. Like the recession is coming, the COVID gone past, everyone stressed out, bills piling up, energy prices going up. Like gas, everything is like too expensive right now. Even though US and UK, our prices for gas and electricity is like gone. I'll say about 5 times than what it used to be like last year. And people are stressing out, like there's so many things like out of control. You can't really control these things, right? And even though making a changes, not many people are doing that. So dealing with the stress, dealing with the anxiety and depression. So did you use it yourself in terms of the oil, like reduce your health and anxiety and depression?
Yeah, well, I use it myself too, mostly for, like just stress or anxiety throughout the day, like in the
Yeah.
afternoon or something like that. Especially if I know I'm going to have to go to the airport and deal with a bunch of traffic, I'll take a whole bunch. But so I use it for stress and sleep. My wife uses it for sleep at night. So I mean, we still give it to our children and my son every day because it is so good for you. It's just like a
Yeah.
leafy green vegetable, eating it all the time. But and as far as the whole stress thing goes, I mean, it's one of those things too where sometimes you just gotta, one tip is turn off the television and turn off the phone, because a lot of that stress is caused by other people that are trying to sell you
Yeah.
something, and a lot of what they're selling is fear. And you're obviously doing things. You're having a podcast, and that's taking control and changing the narrative. And you're, as Warren Buffett always says, there's two things that you can do when you're in a recession. And Warren Buffett's the
Mhm.
world's greatest investor. And he says number one is you can invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself and learn skills how you can become more marketable, how you can raise your income. So number one, in a recession or in an economic downturn, invest in yourself. And number two, invest or start a business that can produce profitable returns. So those are the two things that we all should be doing in this time. Because look, when there's the downturns,
Yeah.
because that's how it always goes, ups and downs. The downturns, the people that are really focused and understand how to take their skills, improve their skills, and apply their skills will become the next wave of multimillionaires and multi-billionaires, if that's what you want,
Hmm.
because the opportunities is there. So many people will just kind of sit and wait and cower and have someone else tell them, okay, it's okay to go and shop. It's okay. Everything's okay. Or you can go buy an electric car like we did, get rid of the gas price worry. You
Yeah.
can start your own business and start your own podcast like you did, and you can work on yourself and join masterminds and find experts that have already done what you've done. Like for you, it would be like, I know John Lee Dumas on Entrepreneurs on Fire. So go and join an organization that's already done it. He's already making millions of dollars a year on his podcast. So I want to learn from him. Teach me
Yeah.
how you did it. And now I can take control of my financial future. My stress levels go down. My enjoyment of life goes up. And that would be my little advice for the audience.
Yeah, that's great advice, brother. Like we can focus on like what we can control, right? Like focusing on like what we can't control, then you're just wasting your time and energy. Like and no medicine or like a supplement actually gonna solve the problem, right? You can take it here and there, but eventually you need to take control of your life and making a changes. Like I remember I used to work as a dishwasher when I moved to UK when from Bangladesh when I was 16 years old, and like washing the dishes and peeling them onions and cooking in the same place over and over again. Like I need to make my self in a change because this is my family told me, right? This is the best job you can ever get. Like from being a dishwasher to like you can be a cook, then you can be a chef, and you're gonna earn like a decent salary about 20, 35,000 a year. This is not something I wanted to be settled for, right? I worked in the evening in a restaurant, and during the daytime I worked in a been in a college and go university, go graduation, become primary school teacher, started multiple businesses, and needed to change. Like you have to have the desire to change over your finance. You need to change in your like relationship or health. And even though health wise, like I've been down the road so many times. Like I had asthma right now, diagnosed with IBD, and these things like I couldn't control. It's not like my eating habit. It's not because of like I'm overweight. My weight is perfectly fine. It's just because the way like things happen, right? You can't control things. But when it actually happens, then you have to control it. So with my asthma, I have to look for like if it's a too warm, if it's a too cold, if it's a too dusty area, or like anything goes on. Then obviously you can take a supplement, medication, inhaler. You have to be like a focus on what you can control. So in terms of like when you,
Absolutely.
yeah, in terms of like you helping other people and organizations, so what kind of feedback you getting from your CBD, like how they affecting people on their getting better sleep and reducing them stress?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, there were so many powerful stories that we started a podcast called
Yeah.
Miracle Plant Podcast, and just so they could share their stories. I mean, it'll blow you away. We were talking about people with severe neuropathy, which is like stabbing pain in your feet and your extremities, couldn't stand up for more than 90 seconds, couldn't sleep at night. They
Mm.
take our oil for 3 days and they call it resurrection juice because they can sleep and the pain is gone. I mean, just think about that. Take some plant oil and your pain is gone. No side effects, no pills, none of that crap that a lot of people are used to with the big pharma,
Yeah.
industry, that the way that we have it. So we see miracles every single week. We've seen people use our products with tremendous success with neuropathy, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's, obviously autism, cancer, and then just everyday stress, everyday pains, everyday aches and pains, and just sleep at night. The best way for your body to heal itself is to get a good night's sleep, and this product helps. And because it's raw, it's called CBDA. It's just like freshly squeezed orange juice. It's not. No one else does what we do. No one else figured out. You just need to. If you want to get high, go find some stuff and with high THC and heat it. If you want to get healthy, go find some hemp and eat it. It's a leafy green vegetable. Eat the plant. That's what plants are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to eat plants, and that's what we did, and that's why it works.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a great way to look at it. So obviously, I spoke to like a few of them CBD brands myself as well, and they've been helping like in a great way. Like a couple of guys. One is a Brandon. I interviewed him like last year or something, and he's saying the same thing. Like it works like a miracle way. And I didn't actually look at. I didn't have the time to look at the CBD because it's not available everywhere in the UK. Few people are selling it, but it's not like how huge they are in the US. It's been legalized and everything. So few people are selling in the UK. I don't know if it's legalized or not. So that's another thing. Like, so you guys, do you?
Well, you can order it from us, and we
Yeah,
mail it to international all the time.
yeah,
So,
that
and
was
I
the
can give an
question.
offer to your audience to try it. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
was the
then an
question. Like,
offer for your
do you
audience.
send it for like a worldwide
Yes.
listeners?
Yes. All over the world.
No.
All over the world. We send it to over 190 countries. And we
All
don't
right.
even care what the country says. It's like, whatever. It's medicine.
Yeah.
It's plant juice. So Anyway, so yeah, if you go over to our website 101 hemp hemp.org 101hemp.org, we'll ship it anywhere. If you buy more bottles, it's actually cheaper,
Hmm.
and it's usually to send it to the UK, it's like $20 extra, and we'll send it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Justin, we're coming to the end of this podcast. So those who's listening, if they want to learn more about your podcast show or learn about your business, and where's the best place to find you guys?
Yeah, I mean, the podcast is called Miracle Plant. You can shoot me an email at info at 101hemp.org, or you can just go to that website 101hemp.org and check out the products. The Chill X is the CBDA oil that I would recommend for stress and sleep. And yeah, a pleasure being on the podcast. Hope people reach out and keep doing your thing, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me in this podcast show. I really appreciate it. It was a great fun to have you on my show. So yeah, Justin, I wish you best of luck with your business, your health, your life, and also your son as well. I'm really glad he's recovering as well. So have a great day.
Thank you, and hit me up with your mailing address. I'll send some for your son.
Thank you, brother. So yeah, that's
Thank
a wrap,
you.
guys. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. Those who learn more about like a Justin and interested in his product, go find out on his website. Also reach out to him on his email address. So until then, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Thank you, everyone. Take care.